Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and it is The Lock Shop right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining us. If you are watching on YouTube, give us a like. If you're not yet subbed to the channel, we would appreciate that as well. And we have surpassed 1 million views over here on Edmonton Sports Talk on YouTube, which is great, but it's just a part of what we do. Obviously, you can listen on TuneIn, you can listen at iHeart, you can listen to the podcast after the fact. And, of course, you can just listen straight up OG style back in September at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. A busy slate in the National Hockey League. Nick Ehlers cashing the Lock Shop play of the day yesterday with an Ehlers point at minus 108. Love that one last night. Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuck with the shutout there. Let's bring in Huss. Let's bring in Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk today. Huss, nice win for your Jets last night, buddy.
Yeah, great night at the rink. Awesome debut for Toffoli and Colin Miller. The squad looked a heck of a lot better. They did after that double flusher Saturday night against the against the Canucks. And you know what's funny? I'll have to check this, but I think that Ehlers got an assist. I'm not sure that he got a plus on the goal. I think he was on the bench by the time that puck went in the net.
Really? That's a weird one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he made a great play to sort of spring Scheifele and Connor on a 2-on-1, and then went to the bench. So anyways, it was that line looked dangerous though. I mean, I'm not sure how much you've heard of this, but I mean, the discourse around Jetland for the better part of the last month has been Rick Bonus's preference to have Ehlers not play on the top line with Scheifele and with Connor. And to be honest, a lot of the discourse has been Ehlers versus Connor. Who's better? The numbers certainly are better when Ehlers is up there.
I was going to say, is this because they want some separated scoring, or what's the driver behind it?
Well, to be honest, I think a big part of it is I think Scheifele just prefers to play with Kyle Connor. Now, Connor is probably a more dependable player. Like, when you hear Scheifele talk about it, he says, I always know where Kyle Connor is going to be. Ehlers plays some jazz, if you know what I'm saying. He can be, I mean, he's incredible. He has the puck on his stick a lot, which is something that Scheifele often does as well. But I mean, there's just no arguing the results when Ehlers and Scheifele are playing together on that top line. But to your point, though, I do think that, I mean, especially now with the Toffoli trade coming in, I mean, the Jets are looking to have two scoring lines that are kind of 1A, 1B, not relying solely on the Scheifele unit. And I think they've got that. I mean, basically, once Gabriel Velarde comes back, and hopefully that'll be within the week, you're going to have on the left side, Ehlers and Connor. In the middle, you're going to have Scheifele and Monahan. And on the right side, you're going to have Velarde and Toffoli. Mix those players up, whether one or two lines, however you want. I mean, it'll be up to the coaching staff to find the best mix of those 6 players. But I think what the goal is to have it not really matter which of those lines is going over the boards, that they're going to be able to carry their fair share of play and outscore their opposition. And historically, that Scheifele-Connor pairing, as much as they've done offensively, they often spend a lot of time in their own end as well. And that doesn't seem to happen as much with Nick Ehlers. And it's not as much that Ehlers is this great defensive player. It's that, you know, whether it is because of his controlled zone entries, the amount of time he can play with the puck, the puck on his stick, they just have a lot more possession and make a lot more happen. So it's the team's looking good. I mean, and last night, as I mentioned, I mean, Bonus said Saturday night was the worst game that the team has played in his 2 years here. You know, they had a nice shutout win against Seattle on Friday, and then it was ugly. And they got worked. They got taken to the woodshed by Vancouver, a place that they just won on a Saturday night a couple weeks earlier. So to come back and play the way they did last night was great. Toffoli and Colin Miller got the jackets from the boys in the locker room afterwards, and tomorrow night we get the Predators coming into town. Now, we haven't seen Nashville since they've been on this ridiculous tear.
Yeah, big test.
So it should be an interesting game coming up.
What about Washington?
What happened to Boston last night?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know what? And I'm going to give you credit because when we were going through those,
I did say I was worried a bit.
you're like, and I'm like, and I was about to say, like, I was thinking about this while I'm at the game and I'm looking and it's freaking 4-0 for St. Louis. And I'm like, I'm going to need to ask Dusty, what was it about yesterday's game?
I mean, the Bruins have just been so inconsistent, man. I don't know. It's just, I've had a hard time getting on the Bruins really much at all this season, especially over the last month or so. So, I mean, Spidey sense just a tinkling. Now, with that being said, I said I would have rather probably had the Islanders in there, and the Islanders ended up getting shut out by the Los Angeles Kings. So, but we were the Winnipeg game obviously was nice. Hit the Ehlers play on the lock shot play of the day. Cool Bet Hotline was the Jets in regulation, so managed to go there as well. Rangers kind of exactly what you expected. What about the Rempe hit? What do you think of the chicken wing last night he pulled out?
I mean, like he barely got him, but he got him.
Yeah.
I mean, so
it's gonna be 3-4 games, right? I mean, we've seen similarities. Craig Button called for 4 games today on our show, and he said, other guys who have picked the head this season have been around that 4-game mark. So we'll see what ends up happening on that one. But it's an interesting spot because you come in and you fight everybody, and everybody loves you, and then you throw a chicken wing out on somebody, and you're like, oh, this guy's a dirty prick. So he's got it's a fine line for this kid to walk here.
Well, it really is. And I mean, I respect him for standing up and taking on some of the toughest dudes in the league. But you lose respect for a guy, especially a guy that big that's going and picking a guy's chin with a chicken wing the way he did last night. And then, of course, afterwards doing the beaking motion or whatever to the guys. Yeah, no doubt that they were pissed off. I mean, any team in the National Hockey League would be. So it's a process for Rempe. He's learning, I think, every day what you can get away with, what you can't get away with, what's expected of him. But I do think he's got a bright future. I mean, the guy's certainly tough. There's no doubt about that. And there is an element of that physical, imposing nature of a guy like that you can certainly use come playoff time. So, the Rangers, in all likelihood, are probably, I mean, they're going to be playing in most likely one of the wild card teams in that first round. I mean, that could be Tampa. I mean, it could also possibly be the Islanders if the Islanders can kind of finish the job.
A Rangers-Islanders first round matchup. That'd be fun.
Dude, that would be outstanding. I mean, right now they would be, I guess they're going to probably be playing the first wild card team. So, but it's so close. I mean, Tampa right now is 2 points up on Detroit, but 2 points up on Detroit and the Islanders, and both Detroit and the Islanders have a game in hand. So let's just give them wins in that game in hand. You basically got 3 teams in a dead heat, tied 74 points, 65 games.
Certainly possible.
So absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Rangers Islanders in the first round would be absolutely phenomenal. I mean,
Patrick Waugh as an underdog in New York City against the Rangers. Can you imagine some of the headlines we'll get out of Patrick Waugh, some of the quotes we'll get from Waugh in that series?
We need that. That being said, I did watch that Islander game last night, and it was a little disappointing. They just didn't have it on that second end of back-to-backs the way they did. And you know what? Hey, credit to the LA Kings. The Kings are playing a much better brand of hockey lately. I mean, they haven't been doing anything special. Frankly, the entire Pacific in the last little bit has just sort of been pretty good. I mean, I guess the Oilers are 6-3-1. Vancouver, LA, 5-4-1 in their last 10. Although the Canucks did have that losing streak. They've now won 4 in a row. So they've sort of reestablished themselves.
But have lost Demko for the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So we'll see what happens with Thatcher Demko.
Hey, I know we're going to spend some time on a big slate of games tonight. And, it's funny. No skin in the game. No Oilers, no Jets tonight.
Yeah, so huge slate, though. Jake's already working on the Nasty Chat parlay, too. So if you're over there, throw out your picks. But you want to talk NFL? Is that what you want to do?
I want to talk NFL.
We have to, right? Like, holy smokes.
King going to the Queen City. Derrick Henry, a Raven? Wow.
What do you think? Little 1-2 punch with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Now, and they've had running backs there, but they were younger guys, couldn't stay healthy. Oh, Gus Edwards is back. Oh, mix in Justice Hill. I don't know how much Henry's got left in the tank, but I don't know how much you need when you're the counterpunch to Lamar Jackson in an offense. I think that could be really good.
Derrick Henry still has plenty in the tank. I'm not worried at all. And I think he got a 2-year deal.
He did. Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I'm interested in is the fantasy perspective of this. And I think this is going to be great for Lamar. I mean, listen, Baltimore is going to be a playoff team. They probably, I guess Cincinnati's back. I mean, maybe they win the division, maybe not. They'll be in the playoffs next year. It's all going to then come down to, can Lamar Jackson elevate his play like a lot of the other top quarterbacks have done in the playoffs that he hasn't been able to do? Because, man, you get the 2 MVPs, and then, to lose in the fashion that they did, being really dominated by that Chiefs defense is, I mean, listen, I was going to say it's not going to cut it. It's not like they're going to move on from him. But, to have a beast in the backfield like Henry, and what that does when you're, I mean, like, think about the option plays and what run defenses are going to have to worry about. You're either getting 265 pounds of Henry coming right at you, and when you prepare for that, the next thing you know, Lamar keeps it and is running wide on the outside. That could be a problem next year for opposing defense.
You are obviously, I'm a big fantasy guy. The running back shuffle over the last 48 hours, I cannot wait to see where running back rankings kind of fall into place with everybody in their new landing spots, because we had Dave Naylor on today to talk about this a little bit, because the salary cap expanded by so much this year. It seems like they were willing to pay running backs a little bit more when that running back market had kind of been sort of reset the last few years, because all season long you hear people talk about, replaceable running back, this guy's hurt, bring in whoever. And then it gets to free agency, and these guys are just going like hotcakes yesterday in different spots, being traded here, being traded there. Who was it? Saquon went, DeAndre Swift went, Tony Pollard went, Austin Eckler went, Aaron Jones now has a new home, Josh Jacobs has arrived. Eckler signed with the Commanders for 2 years.
The Commanders?
2 years, like 8.4 total. So it's almost like a prove it, you need a fresh start type of contract compared to like Josh Jacobs. Now, not all of it's obviously guaranteed, but Jacobs got the 4-year deal. Saquon got 3. Swift got 3. Eckler got 2 at 8.4, I think.
I'm just looking right now at what we're hearing. Speaking of running backs, top headline on ESPN right now, source, the Texans are trading for Joe Mixon.
Yes, I saw that one about an hour ago too, yeah.
So Mixon into the Texans mix would be nice.
Buddy, like half the running backs in the league have changed teams in the last 24 hours. It's nuts.
It goes to show the perceived value of running backs right now. Tony Pollard, I think that he'll actually probably have a pretty good season, like just fantasy wise. I mean, he'll get a ton of opportunity there.
Should be a ton of touches in Tennessee,
with Henry moving on to the Ravens. It sounds like Jameis Winston going to Cleveland.
He just signed with Cleveland, 1-year deal. Yeah. Sam Darnold to the Vikings.
Yes,
that was an interesting one.
So, I guess he's going to be their starter.
Wow, I think Naylor today when he was on, Minnesota drafts 11th. So could they move up a few spots and get a quarterback, and then they have like Darnold as the vet there? I don't know what happens with Justin Fields now. Well, like all these teams that got quarterbacks.
I don't think that they'll need to move at all, to be honest. If they want to take, I could see them taking J.J. McCarthy from Michigan at 11.
At 11?
Like the top 3 guys are going to go off the board. And then there was the thought that maybe Atlanta at 8 would jump on one. Well, they just got Kirk Cousins and they signed him for 4 years. So, I mean, that no longer is a position of need for them. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's some people that don't think McCarthy's a first round first-round talent.
I see some people are super high on him now.
Some people are super high on him. He did have a nice run, pro days and whatnot heading into the combine. So, but Darnold was the 3rd overall pick in 2018. I mean, we're not talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah, not that far removed.
He's sort of been well-traveled. And listen, I got a lot of faith in KOC. I think O'Connell, if, they're making a move because he believes that this is a guy that they can probably get to do the things they need to get the ball. And I'll tell you what, as long as they re-sign Justin Jefferson and get that mega deal done, Darnold's going to have a great opportunity to sort of do what Baker Mayfield did last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and really jumpstart his career, reestablish his value, and then sign a much bigger deal next year, whether it be in Minnesota or elsewhere, depending on what happens.
All right, so running backs moving like crazy. Kirk Cousins gets a payday with Atlanta. I saw a great gift today from Zoolander when Zoolander and Hansel are staring at each other and they're giving the stare down and they're like, Caleb Williams and Justin Fields when they both roll into Bears camp. And it's just like, oh man, wouldn't that be something if they can't get anything sorted out there if you're Chicago?
Well, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. And I know last week we had the odds up at Coolbet as to where Justin Fields is going to play.
The top 2 teams are off the board, right? Pittsburgh and Atlanta, were they not?
Pittsburgh and Atlanta off the board. So who would give... the Vikings, although the Vikings have now just gone and made that $10 million play for Sam Darnold and made draft a quarterback, so probably he's not in the mix.
You think somebody's going to get Fields, though, on a bargain, though, eh? You have to think at this point.
I think originally they were thinking they might be able to get a 2nd and a 3rd or something for him. I mean, and that's legit draft capital. I mean, he's not getting a 1st rounder.
Yeah.
But if you can get a 2 and then an additional mid-round pick, I think the Bears would be happy with that. I mean, they're all playing with house money now because they've got their own pick, I believe at 9, if I'm not mistaken. And then they also have 1-1, which is the Panthers
pick. The Carolina pick, yeah.
To take Caleb Williams.
I'll be interested to see where everybody else ends up. I think Calvin Ridley's still out there as well. A few other receivers that'll still be kicking around. It seems like the run on running backs has been much more significant than the other offensive positions so far. So,
by the way, I just have to say something about the Panthers. They have bungled so many things over the past 2 years. You think back to what they got for Christian McCaffrey. They had an offer for Burns for 2 number 1s and a 3, and they said no. And then they ended up basically having him play on a 2-win team for the entire year, and then ended up trading him for a 2 and a 5. Like, it is just some of the worst asset management, around. Like, okay, if you're going to keep the guy and he's going to be your cornerstone, I get it. But if you're just going to turn around and move him at the end of the following season, heading into free agency, well, why didn't you take the 2 1s? Especially for a team that had given up so much to get Bryce Young. Didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm not sure that they know what they're doing.
Marshall in the nasty chat says, what about the Raiders for Justin Fields?
Well,
they just got Gardner. They just got Gardner Minshew.
How did we forget about that?
Yeah.
Minshew Mania's coming to Vegas?
Going to Vegas. Like if the league somehow needed a boost somewhere, Minshew Mania in Vegas is quite the scene. They also have Aiden O'Connell still there as well. But outside of that, I mean, the quarterback depth chart with the Raiders, not great.
Say hello to 6-11, Raider Nation.
Speaking like a rival, if you can even call them that, at this point. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Justin Fields. Like Naylor made another great point this morning on Nielsen show earlier. Fields, like first half of the season was not good last year, but second half of the season was actually okay. Like there were some positive steps for Justin Fields in the second half of last season. So it'd be interesting to see if a team can, move a second and a third or a second and a fourth and And even maybe if they have a veteran guy to kind of help him along a little bit more. We'll see.
I'm seeing that it sounds like Marcus Mariota might be heading to Washington.
Yeah, with Sam Howell.
Sam Howell there. I'm just trying to think of more openings for Justin Fields. Like, would it be on the West Coast somewhere?
I mean, I'm just whip around these teams. Buffalo, no. Miami, no. New England, who knows what the hell they're doing? They're going to be drafting a guy early. They just signed Jacoby Brissett as well, so they're going to be out. The Jets, Tyrod Taylor just signed to be Aaron Rodgers back. At Baltimore, no. Cincinnati, no. Cleveland, no. Pittsburgh's already taken care of theirs. Houston, definitely not. The Colts, no. They've got their guy. Jacksonville, Tennessee, Denver, Kansas City. Denver? Maybe Denver? Denver's quarterback depth chart right now has Stidham, DiNucci. Where do they draft?
Huh.
I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing there. So there's just not many teams that have a need. Arizona says they're going with Kyler Murray. Obviously, the Niners, Seahawks, Rams. Falcons got theirs. Carolina, you know what they just did. Saints, Bucks just signed Baker. Lions good. Packers good. Vikings, we'll see what plays out there. Dallas is good. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. And then you got the Eagles and Commanders.
Would Fields be an upgrade on Geno Smith?
Man, I'd have to ask a Seahawks fan. I don't know well enough on Geno Smith. I think they like Geno Smith there. I think maybe they like Geno Smith maybe a little bit more than Geno Smith is good type of scenario. But Chad says they just gave Stidham $10 million in Denver. So, yeah.
Stidham's going to be their guy, huh? All righty then. Well, okay. How about the Saints? Like, Carr was terrible last year, and I know that they're still married to that contract. I mean, he got like $100 million guaranteed or something like that. So I don't think they're able to get off of it. But Fields is still on his rookie deal. So could you?
So it's not like a crazy deal to come in, right? You could, yeah. I mean, I think that's what it has to end up being, like something along those lines, right? There's just not many number one jobs kicking around out there.
Will the Giants move on from Danny Dimes?
I would if it was me, I would probably move on from Danny Dimes to take a shot with Justin Fields, right? You've already taken the shot with Danny Dimes.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah,
not at all.
I don't know. Be interested to see what Chicago ends up doing here prior to the draft. But the NFL free agency has been outstanding over the last couple of days, and we'll see how the rest of it sorts itself out as well.
Oh, and Aaron Jones is signing with the Vikes?
Yeah, that came down during our show this morning. Oh. Like, I'm just trying to think if we missed anything here. Ravens, Henry, Jones, Vikings, Mixon, Texans, Moss, Bengals, Barkley, Eagles, Jacobs, Packers. This is from Schefter. Eckler, Commanders. The Tony Pollard one, I'm never going to live. Like, I didn't realize Tony Pollard had signed with the Titans till I was going through the list this morning. And I looked at Eric. I was like, how the hell did I not see the Tony Pollard signing yesterday? Like, I'm on Twitter for I don't know how many hours a day. I don't know when it came down, but this morning I was stunned. I was like, what? Tony Pollard's with the Titans now? DeAndre Swift went to the Bears. Singletary went to the Giants. Gus Edwards goes to the Chargers. Antonio Gibson got a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. And then, today the most recent one was Aaron Jones this morning. Well, Jones and Henry both going today.
Antonio Gibson going to New England, eh? Huh.
Now, that wasn't Antonio Gibson goes to New England. I don't know what's going on there. But I wasn't really exaggerating much when I said half the teams basically have a new running back. Like the list that I just put out there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 teams right there with different running backs already. So, and then Joe Mixon traded to the Texans. So that's 13 teams with different running backs.
Yeah.
And I'm not even including Chase Edmonds, who I think got a new deal somewhere. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, that Vikings-Packers rivalry is going to be extra interesting with Aaron Jones in purple this year and of course Josh Jacobs making the move to Green Bay. It was I can never remember a 24, 48-hour period at any position, frankly.
Yeah.
With the carousel that we've just seen when it came to running back. And like, were we expecting that? Like
I knew a few of these guys were going to be free agents, but I don't remember being talked about near as much during the regular season, buddy. Or even like in the off season much. So, yeah.
Big Ukes fired up.
Wild
Big
day.
Ukes fired up about Mixon going to the Texans.
Well, Fat Efron on the in the inbox says, I was late learning about Mixon to the Texans, but we are moving up. Stir up a new jug of the Kool-Aid because I'm drinking it all. That's the time. This is the time of year, right? You get fired up for a couple of days as an NFL fan, especially all you fantasy folks. And, then your team comes out of the gate 2-4 and you're like, damn it, have to start over again. Mind you, with what they've got there in Houston, with some of the talent that they've got, I think that could go a long way. We'll see what they can get out of Mixon.
I'm just checking the chat here. We got some beauties from the fellas. Spency, 5 Centsy, Rod Z. The gang is firing away with some pretty interesting props for today. And I see Jake now has put this together. Nasty Chat Parlay. Alex Nylander and Wyatt Johnson, both 2 or more shots on goal. Nekesh, 3+. Caulfield and McKinnon, both 4+. And McKinnon goal, Konechny assist, Jamie Benn point. Those are beauties.
I don't mind that one.
Those are beauties.
Yeah.
The shot one is big time with 5, but I think if you got 5 guys with different numbers, that could be pretty. Yeah, Steinbach the Nemesis says post them both. Big Uke loves it. Mark saying LFG.
Steinbach, the Nemesis. I love it. That's great.
Ride with the boys in the chat today.
Hey, before we get to our NHL slate, I got a key word here for the trip to Vegas. We'll execute it the same way we did yesterday. I will give you the word right now, and then after Huss heads off to Winnipeg Sports Talk, we will call our qualifier closer to noon. We'll have another Vegas keyword for you coming up on 2 guys and a goalie, which gets rolling right away here at noon. Listen to for the keyword 4 times per day right here at Edmonton Sports Talk for your chance to win a trip to Vegas. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to a Cirque show. Presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Nonstop flights over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from Fly YEG. Visit Fly YEG for more. Today's keyword on the Lock Shop, and you just have to text us. If you're on the Nasty Chat, you know the rules. Don't post it in there. You won't qualify. Fire a text over to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You just have to text in the word slots, S-L-O-T-S.
With an O.
With
guys.
an O.
With an O.
S-L-O-T-S. These are Vegas-related words. S-L-O-T-S. Slots is the correct word here. Don't even be funny. This slots. S-L-O-T-S. That is your keyword today. Text that in, and we'll grab somebody around 11:50 today, and you will qualify. The keyword, one more time, is slots. S-L-O-T-S to get in the mix for that trip to Vegas. We were joking at one point because we've already had NHL, we've had F1. We were joking about the LTIR has to pop up at some point when you're giving away a trip to Vegas. Does it not?
The keyword is long-term injured reserve. Yeah, that's today's keyword.
All right, one more time. The keyword today is slots, S-L-O-T-S. Huss, it is a busy night in the National Hockey. Oilers back in action tomorrow against Hey, tell me about Washington a little bit. What should we expect from the Capitals when they roll in here tomorrow?
Well, they didn't have much last night. And Spencer Carberry, their coach, talked about just how impressed he was with the Jets last night. He said they had the puck 75% of the time. They didn't give them much. I mean, as far as shutouts go for Connor Hellebuck, it actually was very similar to the Seattle game with the 3-0 shutout on Friday for Brossoit. They didn't get to the net very much. And I'll be honest, your boy Ovi is.
I was watching last night. There was a few. I don't give an F moments last night from OV.
Did you hear the chant in Winnipeg last night?
No, I did not.
300s?
No, what was it?
Can't catch Gretzky.
Oh man,
Can't catch Gretzky.
that's got a nice ring to it as far as chants go. You know, Ovi's my guy.
Well,
I think he still does, but I like it.
You know what? Throw that out to the Oiler fans. Maybe you get that going for where would that be better than Edmonton?
Than in Edmonton. Usually they just like to chant, "Let's go Oilers," but can't catch Gretzky. Same ring to it. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go, Oilers fans. Pass it along to all your other Oilers fans who are going to be at the game on Wednesday. The can't catch Gretzky chant. We'll take that for a run tomorrow morning on our show as well. So yeah, because Button said he watched it last night. Washington had nothing. So Washington, it was only 3-0 because Washington had nothing in that game, not a pulse.
Charlie Lindgren was okay. He prevented it from being worse. But I got to tell you, man, Tyler Toffoli, he's going to score some big goals for the Jets.
You're already feeling it, eh?
He's a shark, man. He has a knack for just like, he's not particularly fast or anything, but man, and the Jets had a lot of ozone time. He finds the soft areas where he's got a little bit of space, and he loves to pull the trigger. He could have had a couple goals last night. But it was his old buddy, Alex Iafallo, that took him out for dinner on Sunday night that ended up getting the goal last night. Overall, a very, very tidy shutout performance for Winnipeg. And tomorrow, we've got the Red Hot Predators coming
that'll be good.
So we'll do EST and WST parlays tomorrow for sure.
Do you guys see Colorado at some point here? Because they're rolling through Edmonton on Saturday. I'm wondering if they're making the trip over to Winnipeg too. Oilers get the Avs 3 times in their final 19 games. So that's gonna be a good
Jets
read.
They definitely do play Colorado at some point, but I don't believe it's in March.
It's not on the trip here, yeah.
No, it is in April. The Jets, one more game in Denver on Saturday, April 13th. It's their final road game of the year.
All right, let me whip you through the starting goaltenders on a busy night in the National Hockey League. We've already got the Nasty Chat parlays being built. I'm sure those bad boys, they might already be up over at CoolBet. The Lock Shop obviously brought to you by CoolBet. If you've not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, when you do, use the code LOCKSHOP, one word, and you will get 100% deposit bonus up to $200. Once again, that's at coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP. All right, likely starter for the San Jose Sharks tonight, Magnus Chrona. Have you heard of Magnus Chrona before? Chrona? Chrona. Rod Z, got to have a trend for this guy. There's got to be some sort of note. I'll take a birth date at this point. Magnus,
0 and 0.
Magnus Chrona will start. Let me just see here. Let me see the show more. With the departure of Kakinen, Chrona has been thrust into a larger workload for the Sharks. Will likely make start his third straight game on Tuesday. All right, so Magnus Chrona with the likely start for the San Jose Sharks. Samuel Ersson confirmed for the Philadelphia Flyers. Penguins and Sens tonight. Korpisalo listed as likely. Tristan Jarry confirmed for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Merzlikins confirmed for Columbus. He'll be going up against Caden Primo. That's locked in for the Habs tonight. A couple of likelies in this Rangers-Hurricanes game. Man, there's a couple good games tonight. Rangers-Hurricanes, Shesterkin and Kochikov there. Detroit and Buffalo tonight. Lyon and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Coyotes and the Minnesota Wild. Marc-Andre Fleury will start for Minnesota. Vamelka in between the pipes for the Coyotes. Florida-Dallas. Monster tilt tonight. Jake Ottinger confirmed to start for Dallas. Panthers will go with Bobrovsky. A not-so-monster tilt tonight. The exact opposite game, to be honest with you. The Ducks and the Blackhawks. John Gibson will start for the Ducks. Peter Mrazek for the Chicago Blackhawks. Markstrom is confirmed for the Calgary Flames. Georgiev listed as unconfirmed right now for the Avalanche. Seattle and the Golden Knights tonight. Aiden Hill, Philip Grubauer, but both unconfirmed at this point. What are you liking? What stands out off that slate for you tonight, Huss?
Well, what doesn't stand out is that Ducks Blackhawks game.
You don't want to touch it?
When was the last time the Blackhawks were just a favorite? And they're a slight favorite in that game. One team that I really like that I think I might lean puck line is Minnesota. I think they really got energized after that, the balls of Hines to pull the goalie and win it in OT with what they're facing right now. And obviously Arizona's now into next year's season. Game of the night, though, is this Panther Stars
Yes,
game.
it is.
And I don't know whether it is my natural biases hoping that Dallas loses, considering the race in the Central, or just how much respect I've got for the Florida team right now. But anytime, like that game, by the way, last night was a pick'em. Like when I went to bed, I was looking ahead to today's lines, and it was minus 108 on either side. So obviously it's moved a little bit towards Dallas. I'll be honest, I think there might be worthwhile throwing a little bit down on the Panthers tonight. Obviously the Sharks Flyers game is another bit of a write-off. San Jose or the Flyers need to win that game. Pittsburgh and Ottawa is now it's weird. I am not seeing. Okay, what's the money line here? Pittsburgh minus 114, Ottawa minus 103. Pittsburgh's in a dark place right now. Sid's in it. Gensel's gone. But Ottawa has been, Ottawa just lost to the Sharks 2-1.
That's all you need to know.
that is a tough one. Although I guess, to be honest, that's a bit of a stay away. Montreal at home to Columbus. Again, not a battle of the Titans at all. Montreal minus 110 in that one. I think maybe ride with the Habs at home in that one. And then there's a very interesting stat from Rod Z for this Carolina Rangers game. And let me just see. Where's Rod? I think he said that the underdog. Yeah, here it is. The dog is 7-0 in the last 7 between the Rangers and the Hurricanes. Now, the Rangers did play last night, so they are on the second end of a back-to-back. And Carolina, I might have to tune into that game tonight because I really want to see how Gensel looks, but I'm maybe more interested in what the Canes are going to get out of Kuznetsov.
Yeah, like what's he look like, right?
Yeah. Kind of a new lease on life. And he seemed to have a good attitude when he was there with Hershey for a cup of coffee.
If that fresh start works for him, man, that'd be huge for the Carolina Hurricanes. If you can get even a flash of what Kuznetsov was when he was Kuznetsov, that would be big. And why not? This could be last chance romance here for Kuznetsov. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, both of those two games, like that Dallas game and this one that you were just talking about, both of those are big tonight. Colorado's on the road in Calgary tonight, and Colorado has scored 25 goals in their last 6 games. 5-1 win over Dallas, 5-0 win in Chicago. Nothing to write home about there. Lost to the Red Hot Preds team 5-1. Beat Chicago again 5-0. Beat Detroit 7-2, and then beat Minnesota 2-1. So they've been scoring goals in bunches. 5 against Dallas is much more impressive than the 5 against Chicago a couple of times, and probably even the 7 against the Detroit Red Wings. But I think on the Nielsen show earlier today, Cool Bet Hotline of the Day, I decided to go with the Avs in regulation tonight against the Calgary Flames. That's minus 101. I think it was even it was higher than that even earlier. So that number's come down a little bit there as well for that Avs game tonight. And there's a Golden Knights Kraken as well. That's an interesting one. Tough to get a feel for the Golden Knights right now.
We just saw Seattle twice last week. That's, on paper, normally, I kind of feel like Vegas is in another weight class than the Kraken. But again, Vegas is like, they got that win over Detroit and snapped their losing streak, but I think they still have a ways to go. What do we know about Hertl, when he might play?
Well, it was weird because like on Friday, and I know you're doing the flu game on Friday for your flu show, but on Friday they were talking about like he'll be back before the end of the regular season. Then I thought I was watching Sportsnet. I don't know if it was yesterday or not. They're saying, he's going to be out for at least 10 days. So I'm not exactly sure when the ETA is on Thomas Hertl. If anybody does know, feel free to text it in or hit us up in the nasty chat, and we'll certainly certainly pass it along.
But that is not going to be the case right now. I mean, normally I think I would jump on Vegas, but right now I'm going to kind of wait on that. I'm definitely with you on Colorado. And again, yeah, it's basically even money if you want them in
regulation. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
You want to play it a little more safe. You can go with the money line of that one.
On a parlay, you can put it on the money line for sure. Like if we're building a little 3-gamer here, I mean, minus 167, not a great number, but into a parlay it works.
What did Rod say about the Chicago's 1-18 following a win? That's a pretty daunting number. Now
it's just a number of a team that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say this: I watched that because I had that Islander puck line along with the Gushu, the parlay on Sunday night. So I watched the Islander Duck game. I mean, the Ducks were brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure I could, after watching that game, live with myself backing them on the road against anybody. Maybe we just jump on some Bedard props tonight.
It should be a high-scoring game. I don't mind that. We could throw something in there. The Minnesota-Arizona game, and I'll have the cool bet play of the day coming up on their socials a little bit later on. I am getting on that Minnesota game. But the way they won their last game, they've won 4 of their last 5. The only loss was to Colorado. I think they ride that momentum after that overtime finish. They're back. They're at home here against the Arizona Coyotes. They're just minus 120 if you like them in regulation tonight. The puck line is minus 1.5 at plus 129. They have beaten the Coyotes twice in the last month by 2 goals or more. So they've already covered the puck line twice in the last month, including back on March 7th, which was like 5 days ago, against the Coyotes as well. So I do like some sort of Minnesota play tonight as well if we're looking for another one to throw in there.
You know what? I plopped those 2 in: Minnesota in reg, Colorado in reg.
Yeah.
And then I'm staring at this Panthers money line at minus 104.
It's hard to not agree with you on the Panthers right now, regardless of who they're playing. Like,
I mean, like, Dallas is really good, and that game could absolutely go to, I certainly wouldn't want to be leaning on a regulation bet for either of these teams, either way on that one.
This is great. Florida has won 8 of 10. Dallas has won 5 in a row. But the 5 that Dallas have won, Winnipeg, you would have known that one. Then they beat San Jose twice in Anaheim, and then beat the Kings. So 5 in a row when you beat San Jose twice in Anaheim once. I don't know how much you look into that, but they've won 5 in a row, and Florida has only lost in their last 10, a 2-1 game to Philly and a 1-0 game to Carolina. Outside of that, in their last 5 wins, 4 goals against the Habs, 4 against the Red Wings, 4 against the Rangers, 5 against the Devils, and 5 against the Flames. We know Florida can score, so yeah, I mean, that would certainly bring some value with the other 2 kind of safer plays. What's that put it to?
Well, it puts it to plus 616.
Oh boy.
I get, if we wanted to play it a little safer and move the regulation. Yeah, I will say this. Calgary, I know Calgary just lost a couple games, but they have impressed me with the way that they played for the most part when they've been losing all their guys.
You like that Colorado money line easier?
Yeah, if we go wild and reg, Panthers and Avalanche money line, it's plus 475, which then after the boost is going to be in and around plus 525. I almost think that might make more sense because I could see the Avalanche getting their win in 3-on-3 OT.
Yeah. And
listen, if it goes to 3-on-3 on OT against a team like Calgary, you'd have to think that the Avalanche are a massive favorite to get that done.
Yeah, I would like the 3 guys they can roll out there, especially Cale Makar back in the old stomping grounds, coming home for a big game. So, yeah, okay, I like that. So it's plus 475 pre-boost. So we're going Florida and the Colorado money line, Minnesota in regulation tonight. That'll be our lock shop play of the day. And, of course, we've got a couple of nasty chat parlays that'll be thrown up as well. Those will all be on the exclusives tab over at coolbet.com. How's anything else in the National Hockey League?
Well, one thing, and I guess this is part of the nasty chat, one of the shot props, but just as a standalone wager, count me in on McKinnon over 4.5 shots in this game tonight. He is like, he's the MVP right now. He's having a Hart Trophy level season. And, when things aren't going well for Colorado, he just sort of takes over, and he's getting over 6 on both nights. I think 7 of his last 10. He's actually exceeded 5.5 right now. So definitely like the over 4.5 for McKinnon on the shot prop. And it's probably why we'll throw a little sprinkle in there with the fellas from the chat on the nasty chat parlay. And then go with Minnesota and Reg, and then Florida and Colorado, and try and get back in the win column on a little partner parlay on a Tuesday.
Not only is McKinnon having that Hart Trophy season, but we talked about this around the All-Star break on the futures. He's got that Hart Trophy narrative too, because he has not won one yet. And McDavid has won multiple ones. Kucherov has one. McKinnon, with the season that he's having and the fact that he hasn't won one yet, we pointed this out at the All-Star break. I think there's a real good chance that he ends up wrapping this thing up for a couple of different reasons. Totally deserved. But when you add in some of the narratives as well, Huss, he's going to check pretty much every single box off.
Well, and the one guy that was kind of getting close to him there for a bit was Austin Matthews.
When he was trying to think about 70, yeah.
He's only got 2 goals in his last 8 games. And they're not playing until Thursday this week, actually. We just chopped it up with Dave McCarthy for WST today. And Leafs are off for a few days. And frankly, they haven't looked that good the last little bit. Those back-to-back 4-1 losses to the Bruins or whatever. So I really do think that McKinnon is going to be winning that trophy. But he's got to keep pushing the foot on the gas. And, when we're talking about Dallas, Winnipeg, or Colorado, every point is so crucial right now because these teams are doing everything they can to finish in first place and allow the other 2 of those 3 beasts in the Central to beat the crap out of each other for 7 games in the first round. Ironically, a team might win the Central and get the Vegas Golden Knights as their first round opponent if Vegas still stays in a wild card. But hey, all you can do is try and win and put yourself in the best position to get it done.
Tomorrow on the Lock Shop, we'll head back to the links. We don't need to get into it too much, but have you started to dive in to the players a little bit?
I have. And usually I'm kind of a little closer to Wednesday. Okay, what tournament this week is this week? But the fact that we had a pretty great event, Scheffler stepping up, doing what he's doing, and doing what he did at the Arnie, I think really made it. I was geeked for the players and sort of on it. And you know what's nuts? I mean, Scotty was, I think, 7-1 to win at Bay Hill, plus 575.
Is that what it is?
He is so short. It's only plus 120 for top 5, which is wild. And it goes from Scheffler, the massive favorite, to Rory at 16-1. The next player, 25-1.
Wow.
So, I mean, listen, it's very tough in a field like this to take a guy that's, below a 6-1 favorite. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Scheffler wins it. But if he doesn't, I think we're going to be getting some pretty nice numbers on a bunch of other guys. And that group of like the 25s, just, we'll kind of tee this up for tomorrow. Xander and JT are 25. And then 28, Cantley, Homa, Vic, and Willie Z, who definitely looks like he is back.
I'm a spoiler alert. I got Willie Z on the card tomorrow, just so we know. I was on him last week. He showed real nice flashes last week. We'll have more names tomorrow, but yeah, if you don't want to double up, just so you know, Zalatoris is on the card tomorrow.
Yeah, they got group bets as well, some tournament head-to-heads, winning margin as well. You want to take Scotty Scheffler to win by 3 or more, plus 135.
That's only plus 135 for Scotty Scheffler to win the tournament by 3 or more?
No, for anyone. Just
anyone. Okay, yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Winning margin.
I know Scheffler's been good, but that's ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? What did I see? I think I saw something yesterday. Well, first of all, didn't miss a putt inside 15 the entire week.
Okay, if that happens, then that's how you get a plus 575.
Yeah, that'd be lights out again. And then the other one is he hasn't shot a round of, but did you see this yesterday? He hasn't shot a round above par since like October. So he's been money, absolute money.
Maybe we just put a big chunk on.
Just put it on Scheffler. 5 units, and let's just go. See how it goes. What's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk, buddy?
We're going to go around the league post-trade deadline with Dave McCarthy. We'll recap last night's big win against the Caps with Mike McIntyre and Ted Wyman. We've been waiting
what a beauty.
for some clarity on this curling scandal with Brianne Harris.
Does he have it?
It has come out today. I believe Devin Heroux broke the story. As expected, it was a doping violation. Her appeal was not successful. She's facing a 4-year ban.
Suspension? Holy smokes.
4-year ban. Now, apparently, a very similar, and again, it's whatever the drug is, it starts with an L. They claim that it was, she got it by some sort of physical contact, and someone in the canoe world had this same thing and was successful with their appeals. So we're going to try and find a little bit more information on this. This is a big story around here. Obviously, her being part of Carey's legendary team that won those 4 straight Scotties.
As always, Huss, we appreciate it, man. You have fun on Winnipeg Sports Talk today. We're going to call a qualifier for this Vegas trip, and then we got 2 guys and a goalie coming up over here. We will talk some golf with you and Pete Greggy tomorrow, buddy.
Excellent. Nasty Chatters, I'm riding with you on those prop parlays, and let's see if we can get a dub tonight with the Wild and Reg and the Panthers in Colorado on the money line. Let's get it, fellas.
There you go. If you've not checked out Winnipeg Sports Talk yet, do it over on YouTube at Winnipeg Sports Talk. And we're going to call our qualifier here coming up right away. Once again, thank you to all of you who did get in on that keyword. Another keyword coming up on 2 guys and a goalie, probably around 12:30, 12:40-ish. Today, myself, Cass, and Gage will be up here right at noon talking Edmonton Oilers as they begin a 4-game homestand starting against the Washington Capitals. But let's fast forward to Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. Very much looking forward to that one. Let's just take a quick peek here as Zach Tacoma tracks down our qualifier for today. NBA action tonight, decent slate in the NBA tonight as well. Quickly whip you through this. Sixers and Knicks. The Knicks are 6-point home favorites against that banged-up Sixers squad. The Wizards, 2.5-point road favorites going in to take on the Grizz in Memphis. OKC Thunder, 6-point home favorites against the Indiana Pacers tonight. The Spurs, 3-point home dogs as the Houston Rockets roll into town. The Boston Celtics going on the road to Utah. It does not matter. Celtics are 7-point favorites on the road in Utah. Clippers at home tonight against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves coming off that loss to the Lake Show. Clippers minus 250 at home. Minus 6 on the spread for the Clippers tonight. And then a big one, Bucks and Kings. This should be a good one. Lakers get the Kings tomorrow, I believe, in the second half of a back-to-back for Sacramento. That's a huge game tomorrow for the Lakers and the Kings. Good test tonight against the Bucks. I'm just kind of messing around here a little bit with this NBA slate right now. And if you go Clippers and Celtics, minus 109 tonight, I don't hate that. Just Clippers and Celtics straight up to win both of them tonight. That'll get you minus 109. If you want to throw in the OKC Thunder, that'll get you up to plus 172 tonight. All right, who do we have for qualifier here?
We have Mandy here on the other line.
All right, Mandy, let's go to Mandy. Mandy, congratulations. You have qualified for a chance to win a trip to Vegas with Fly YEG.
Woohoo!
Yeah, have you been to Vegas before, Mandy?
No, I haven't.
You've never been, hey? So what would be the draw for you? What would you be excited outside of a free trip and 3 nights accommodations and tickets to a Cirque show? What would be the most exciting thing about a trip to Vegas for you?
I don't know. Just people watching. I think.
Cool.
I don't know.
I'll tell you right now.
Away.
there is no better place in the world to people watch than Vegas. You could literally sit at, let's just say, the lobby bar at MGM. You could sit there 12 hours, and you'll be like, what the hell is going on in this city? So, yes, that's a good idea. People watching is also a good reason to go to Vegas. Mandy, you are one step closer after being our qualifier here on the Lock Shop today. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk, and good luck in the grand prize draw.
Thanks very much. Have a good day.
There you go. Mandy has got herself into the mix for the trip to Vegas. Next chance to qualify and the final chance to qualify on today's coverage here at Edmonton Sports. We still got weeks of keywords here. I mean, there's just tons of them. Some of them better than others. But on Two Guys and a Goalie today, probably around 12:35-ish, we will give you another keyword, and you can get in for this trip to Vegas with Fly YEG, 2 nonstop flights from Edmonton to Vegas, 3 nights accommodations courtesy the LVCVA, and tickets to a Cirque show. If you win the prize at the end of April, you will have 2 months to book the trip, but you can book it at any point in the calendar year. So absolutely tremendous deal we've got with Fly YEG, beginning of a great partnership with our great friends at the airport, where I spend about every single weekend from late May until November. And I like it down there. I like hanging out at the airport. All right. On the way next, Two Guys and a Goalie coming up here. Cass, Gager, and myself. Stick around. Another chance to qualify coming up in about 40 minutes. If you're on YouTube, turn on autoplay. That'll take you right on over to Two Guys and a Goalie. You won't miss a second. If you're listening on iHeartRadio or you're listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, quick dose of Whale and the Wolf and Two Guys and a Goalie hopefully up and running here by high noon today. Thank you very much for joining us on Lock Shop today. Good luck if you're riding with us on anything tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.